Let's go, guys. Where's altcoin season? We're going to talk about it in this video, okay? So, you know, in the previous cycles, altcoin season has been really crazy. Okay, last cycle, they had a bunch of meme coins and things like that. A lot has changed, okay? And I posted a previous video about how this particular cycle could be different. So, like I said, let's strap in. Let's talk about this in depth. It's going to be a slightly longer video simply because I want to kind of cover my whole thesis, and then I want to talk about some of the altcoins that I think, if things are going to pump, you would think about putting some of your money into, but as simply as a trade. So, this is a video that I've been thinking about making for a while, simply because I do like altcoins, okay? So I'm not against altcoins. I'm against holding altcoins over the long run because most altcoins go to zero against Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean that there's not some potential for arbitrage, okay? Arbitrage meaning buying these altcoins, and then when altcoin season peaks, selling those altcoins. That's kind of my strategy. So if we take a look here, this is a really good chart over at CoinMarketCap.com. CoinMarketCap.com is probably my overall favorite site for kind of just doing general crypto research. I also use token metrics as well. So for like basic research, I use CoinMarketCap. For advanced research, mostly looking to find like hidden altcoins and things like that, I use token metrics. You can check out the links to both of those in the description. So let's just take a look at these charts here. So basically, if you guys don't really understand what altcoin season is basically when Bitcoin dominance drops, and most of these altcoins, so it could be meme coins, it could be AI coins, it could be some historically strong altcoins like Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, whatever. These coins usually start to pump. So if you take a look at this chart here, we can kind of see that altcoin season is this green box and Bitcoin season is this orange box. So it's been really kind of strange because we've been stuck in Bitcoin season for a very, very long time. So it's really easy. You actually can bookmark this page, okay? It's the altcoin season index on CoinMarketCap. And you can see here we're still in Bitcoin season, so 20 out of 100. So the problem here is that a lot of people expect that altcoin season is going to become like a really big thing, but it hasn't really happened yet. Why? Well, let's talk about a few reasons. First off, why I don't think it's happened is because much of the capital that's been flowing into crypto has been dominated by Bitcoin, by those Bitcoin ETFs launched in January 2024. And Wall Street has tried to launch some other Bitcoin ETFs. They've launched Ethereum ETFs. They're applying for Litecoin, Solana, XRP. But the problem is just think about the mindset of the average person that is going to be investing in crypto. They probably don't know anything about crypto, okay? If they're an older investor, I would say over 40. They're probably maybe a baby boomer or Gen X. They just want gains. They don't want risk. So they're going to be mostly attracted to Bitcoin, which means that most of their money is going to be flown into Bitcoin assets. So we're talking Bitcoin ETFs, okay? Spot BTC. Strategy stock. Ticker symbol MSTR, right? Maybe some of those, some of the Bitcoin ETFs that are traded, IBIT, FBTC, right? These are the assets that are going to get the most of their capital. So the problem with that is simply altcoins aren't getting capital, and they're really not attracting capital this cycle because of those major changes that took place. So what exactly does this really mean for altcoins in general? Will it ever come back? Well, we did have a kind of a previous pump back in late 2024. A lot of some altcoins took off in price. So let's take a look at some of them. So if we take a look here on CoinMarketCap, I like to start off with kind of like Ethereum. I think Ethereum, Ethereum has probably it's the second largest cryptocurrency behind Bitcoin. So a lot of you guys out there are like Ethereum. I don't really like Ethereum, to be honest, but I do understand why people hold it. So if we take a look here, let's take a look here at this 1 year chart. Okay, Ethereum had a pretty nice pump back in late December, right? So this was kind of like what they're talking about. But there's been a massive sell-off. So this was kind of weird because this particular altcoin season didn't really last as long as it did in the previous cycle. And the previous cycle was insane for an asset like Ethereum. So we take a look here back in the previous cycle. Look at that run up, right? So Ethereum ran from $400 all the way up past 4,000. So it did a 10x. But this time, during this previous pump, it only went from like 2,500 to 4K, and then it dipped below. So right now, Ethereum's literally trading at where it was back in around 2023, where Bitcoin is trading almost 100K. And many of these altcoins are showing the exact same thing. Why? Well, I already mentioned a lot of the money from the older investors is moving into Bitcoin. The second reason is that crypto adoption is changing. A lot of people are starting to understand the power of using Bitcoin as a savings account, and that's where they're putting their capital. So, it's hard to reinvent the wheel, and for a lot of these altcoins, they really don't have much utility value. Obviously, we've got Ethereum, Solana, they have utility value, right? They're due for NFTs and minting items and things like that. Minting other cryptos on their blockchain. Okay. Some of the AI tokens have use. You've got other ones like Litecoin, which is like a digital silver. Okay. Cardano, you can create an identity. Dogecoin, that's like it's like an inflationary token, maybe good for buying stuff. Right? Shiba Inu, meme coin. Okay, meme coins, Pepe. Monero's interesting. Monero's is store of value. A lot of people like to use Monero for store of value. It's an anonymous token. Right? Pepe, meme coin, Aave, DeFi. Caspa's interesting. Caspa is like a proof of work for mining. Internet computer, that one's been crushed. A lot of these tokens have pumped and dumped, especially over the last 6 months. So I think really that's another thing. I think people are starting to really appreciate the power of Bitcoin. They're really starting to understand that Bitcoin's more than just a cryptocurrency. It's really a digital savings account. And that's been disastrous for a lot of these altcoins that people have been buying and hoping that they pump. Look at Decentraland. Decentraland was one of my favorites. It's about to fall out of the top 100. Crazy. That was one of my favorite metaverse coins. That one's about to fall out of the top 100. It dropped a lot. Wow. It's about to fall off the first page on CoinMarketCap. Pretty crazy. Okay, guys. So now let's get a little bit more in depth here. Let's figure out a plan of what we're going to actually do. Now that we understand why altcoin season happens, Bitcoin dominance is way up. Capital is flowing. Okay. Not too much fear out there. There's a lot of fear out there, dealing with Trump's tariffs and all that stuff. That's pretty much done with. The market is pretty much recovered since then. So what exactly are we going to be looking at moving forward? Are we going to be placing bets on some of these altcoins, or are we going to be staying away from them? So now I'm going to show you guys a little bit on this Bitcoin dominance chart. This is very interesting. Okay. So if we look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we can see Bitcoin dominance obviously way up. Altcoins down. Look at Ethereum. Ethereum's dropped like a rock. Okay. Ethereum's dominance hasn't been this low. Unbelievable. It hasn't been really this low since, man, it has been this low since like 2018. About 2020, 2019, something like that. Ethereum's really losing its luster, okay? Ever since they moved from proof of work to proof of stake, been absolutely crushed. But I want to show you guys this very interesting chart, okay? Now, you're not going to find this chart on CoinMarketCap because they don't have the RSI and all of these values. So let's take a look at this one. So this was an interesting chart that I pulled up here on TradingView. Guys, check out TradingView, another one of the tools I use, link in the description below. And we're using the Exante Altcoin Crypto Index. Very interesting. So if we take a look at the Exante Crypto Index, we can see that if we take a look here, now I pulled up this weekly chart. Why the weekly chart? Well, I think the daily chart is just, there's not enough data, okay? We want to kind of look objectively at, we want to continue looking, water break, we continue looking at the weekly chart because I just think it's just more, I really like to think in terms of weeks and months, not days. Days is too short term in my opinion to really have useful data. So we take a look here using the RSI. We can see that this is the altcoin index. It has turned around a bit, okay? So last time the RSI on the Exante Altcoin Crypto Index was this low was back in September 2024. This is when altcoin season started to pick up. So, very interesting. So now I'm more interested in trading some of these altcoins, okay? Simply because from a technical standpoint, we've seen this before. We saw this happen, okay, in September 2024. That was right before altcoins pumped. And this chart made the same move, okay? Made the same move here, right? Back in October 2023 before the run-up. So maybe, just maybe, altcoin season is coming soon. But it looks like that it's going to be coming at the end of Q2. So meaning Q2, that means Monday in June. Now, okay, hear me out, right? Historically, the summertime hasn't really been very strong for crypto. But we take a look here, the last altcoin pump happened in September, and then the top was in December. So how many months is that? So September, October, November, December, that's 4 months. Okay, now if history repeats itself, that means that we could see a nice peak May, June, July, August. Okay, so near the end of the summer, something like that. That makes sense because historically September is probably the worst month for crypto in general. So we could see a nice altcoin pump from May until August, okay? August would probably be the time to get out of these altcoins if they pump, because September is just bad for crypto in general. It's one of the worst months for Bitcoin. It's just there's not a lot of gains to be had in the month of September, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are. So I'm up here on CoinGlass. So we can see here Bitcoin monthly returns. Right. You can see the worst month is September. And then there's October. So this would probably be the turn, okay? What the turn is when altcoin season ends and then Bitcoin dominance will pick back up. So, like I said, we take a look here back again. Let's go over this once more, right? We saw here in September, that's when altcoins bottomed, picked up, pumped in December. The previous, in 2023, altcoins picked up in October, okay, pumped in December. So we could see something similar, okay? Probably see altcoins pick up in the summertime, pump, take a breather in September, something like that, run higher in October, pump in December. And it just makes sense because this is just kind of where I see a lot, a lot of the capital is going to be moving into. So, like I said, once again, go back here. These are the two strong months that you want to get involved in, October and November. These are historically very, very strong months for Bitcoin. They're very, very strong months for just crypto in general. A lot of capital is going to be moving into them. So you can see here, May, June, July, August, September, pretty slow for Bitcoin. Pretty slow for altcoins in general. So this is what we're doing. We're looking to play the same, make the same moves that happened in the previous last 2 years and in 2025 as well. So we're going to be looking at some of the projects that I've been eyeing to see that if altcoins kind of, make a similar move. So we take a look here at the previous 2 months, April 20, or right here we're in May 2023. We went down a bit, okay, a boring summer, things went higher. Same thing with here in May, boring summer, things went higher. So last 2 years this happened. Altcoins bottomed, okay, in September, peaked in December. Bottomed in September, peaked in December. So we've got 4 months, April, or May, June, July, August. These are the 4 months that you have to get your money right and get your money into these projects. Now, I would just recommend start to move your capital in now because, life's unpredictable. If you try to just wait and save, you might end up having to spend the money on an unexpected emergency, or you just might be careless and waste it on something stupid like, I don't know, alcohol or smoking or partying or stuff like that. So I would say in this space right here, from May to August, this is when you want to be moving your capital in because a lot of people are going to be playing the bottom just like we had in the last 2 Septembers. Okay? So you don't want to buy in September because altcoins are probably going to start running in September. As evidence here, look here, the bottom was September 2nd, bam, started taking off, okay? Previously here, the bottom was September, bam, take it off. So you don't want to buy in September, you want to buy through May and August. So May, June, July, August, 4 months. This is the accumulation phase for altcoins. Okay, this is the accumulation phase. Bitcoin as well, but in this video is specifically mostly focusing on altcoins, simply because this is where you're going to be able to get those. Bitcoin is probably not going to run 5 or 10x this cycle. Okay, I'd say conservatively, I would have Bitcoin at about 175,000 would be the top, 180K max, simply because too many people have been holding. The economy is just weird. A lot of people are looking to take profits, okay? A lot of people are looking to make money with their Bitcoin. They're not just buying their Bitcoin to hold on to it forever. Maybe guys like Michael Saylor over at Strategy or whatever, but most people want to take profits and they want to buy stuff, right? So especially now with the economy rough, especially now with a lot of economic uncertainty, a lot of people are looking to sell their Bitcoin. So that means that you need to set down a plan from May until August to get your money right. If your money's already right and you're already into your altcoin plays, you're good. But if your money's not right, you need to grind. You need to grind like crazy. Sell stuff you don't need. Cut your expenses. Track your spending. Get rid of frivolous purchases. Put your money in some of these altcoin projects over the next 4 months and during the accumulation phase. Then, as in September 1st, I really think market's going to just start taking off. It just starts taking off with altcoins because remember we talked before, that's the bottom. So the reason why Bitcoin is weak is because that's when altcoins are going to start taking off. And then the market's just going to continue. Boom, boom, boom. That might be the cycle. I don't know. A lot of people say the 4-year cycle is done with. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, are a lot of wealthy people going to sell their Bitcoin ETFs and dump them and take their profits in Bitcoin? It's 180K. They basically are going to double their money from now. Maybe Bitcoin goes higher. I really don't know. but I do know that people are going to be buying altcoins like crazy in September. So you got 4 months. So now, okay, now we kind of just gone over that, my thinking, my theory here on where the markets are going to be moving. So now let's take a look at some of those altcoins that I've been looking at. All right. Now, I have been researching some super high risk plays. I'm going to put that in a separate video because a lot of those coins are low cap. I'm going to give you guys some legit altcoins that I think you can easily trade for 5 to maybe like 5 to 10x. Not 100x. That's going to be a separate video. But these are kind of like 5 to 10x plays. I really think Bitcoin's only going to do like a 2x. Okay, 2x from here. So I'm going to give you guys some 5 to 10x plays that I've been eyeing. Okay. So number 1 is XRP. I just think XRP is well positioned. It was mentioned by Trump and his national crypto reserve. So XRP is a nice play. Another nice play, okay, is Litecoin. Litecoin's a fantastic play. Topped out twice. The last 2 cycles at 400. It's trading at about $80 right now. It's a nice play. Okay, if it hits $400, that's a solid 5. That's a little bit. That's about 5x. I really like Litecoin actually. I think Litecoin is so underappreciated. It's like the second oldest one, second oldest cryptocurrency. Only 84 million in total supply. Very underappreciated. Even though it's basically one of the most boring cryptos out there. It's like Bitcoin's sidekick, right? If Bitcoin is Batman, Litecoin is. It's not even Robin really, but it's old. It's been around for a long time. It's still in the top 21. It's still top 25. It's pretty impressive, considering that, really, no one really talks about Litecoin, right? Who talks about Litecoin? So that's pretty cool. Okay. Some other plays I'm going to talk about. All right, Kaspa. Kaspa's interesting. Kaspa can move. Kaspa can run. Kaspa is another one I like. I really like Kaspa. I like proof of work coins. I just think this whole proof of stake reminds me of a stock. I think proof of work is really where it's at. Those are kind of my favorite ones. I think these. I like these metaverse coins too, but the problem is that when's the metaverse coming, right? When's Web 3.0 coming? We know it's coming. Decentraland, Sandbox. These coins are going to pop. It's just when. It might be 2028. It's probably not going to be this cycle, simply because this cycle is mostly focused on AI coins. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys, probably the best AI coin play is Render. Render is definitely a coin that can really pump. AI coins have been doing extremely well, during this cycle. This is the top play, in my opinion, for AI coins. Now, will the AI is definitely is going to be a part of the future, so I don't necessarily think AI is going away, but it's definitely part of the future. So we take a look here at this chart. It's done really well. Okay, back in 2022 it was 42 cents. It's done a 10x from there, and the last 2 pumps, they pumped really nicely. Okay, back in just a few months ago, went from $4 to $10. This coin could really do well. I think it has the potential to really break out, simply because we're still kind of on the AI buzz, and there's demand there. Okay, there's still demand for these tokens. So those would kind of be like my favorite ones. Some of these like micro cap coins, I still think I'm going to show you guys a separate video on those really small ones, because I still need to do more research on them, because frankly at first I was kind of turned off by them, but I've been doing a lot of reading with Token Metrics. You guys want to sign up for them. They have some awesome crypto research there. They have a really nice crypto newsletter. You can use their tools. Just use the link in the description below, you guys. Use my affiliate link and I'll get credit for your referral. So just check that out, or you could just go to, if you guys are just listening to this like in your car or something like that, just go to tarikpierce.com/go/tokenmetrics so you guys can check that out. Man, it's going to be really interesting to see kind of where these coins run. Okay. And that's just simply because, there's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. Global liquidity in M2 has spiked recently, and usually that is very, very, very bullish for crypto. When M2 spikes, quantitative easing, that's where you're going to see a lot of these coins pump. Okay, now I want to give you guys another play, kind of like if you guys don't actually trade crypto. Now, some of you listening to this or watching this, you have a brokerage account, okay? So you still want to kind of play the altcoins without actually like buying through like Coinbase or Robinhood or Qcoin or whatever. So I would give you guys that ETF. Okay, so Grayscale does have a publicly traded fund that you can actually invest in that are publicly traded. Okay, you can get this on somewhere like Fidelity, Robinhood. Okay, if you guys have a brokerage account, the ticker symbol is GDLC. Okay, GDLC is the Digital Large Cap Fund. Now, the bad thing is that it's still mostly in Bitcoin, so it's not really an altcoin fund, but it does have altcoin exposure. Let's look at the holdings. So the weight is 81% Bitcoin, but it does have 9% Ethereum, 5% XRP, 3% Solana, and 1% ADA. So you guys can get into that one. GDLC. Okay. Oops. You guys can get into that one, GDLC. That's an interesting play. Grayscale also has an Ethereum fund, and they have some other funds as well. I'll show you guys those. So let's check out those. So I know Grayscale has their Ethereum, the ETF, Ethereum, the ETF. Okay, yeah, the Ethereum ETF. That's ETEH. So that's how you can play Ethereum. If you guys have a brokerage account, let's check out the Grayscale Litecoin Trust. Okay. That's this one, the Litecoin Trust. So you guys can play Litecoin. All right, LTCN. So you can buy these on your brokerage account, okay? Grayscale has a lot of these products. If you want to get into some of these altcoins and you can't buy them through a crypto account. So there is ways to gain exposure. They have a Solana fund, I believe. I know they have this Grayscale Solana ETF. Let me see here. Let's see here. Yeah, GSOL. Okay. GSOL. So this is kind of a way to get these your brokerage account. You don't want to open up a Coinbase or a try crypto, Robinhood, Qcoin, Kraken, Binance. Okay, but I would really recommend, guys, get you guys a crypto account, play around with it. But for some of you older viewers out there, you don't want to play around with crypto. That's fine. You can still gain access to some of these altcoins through Wall Street. Okay, you just have to pay an expense ratio, but that doesn't matter because you're going to be selling, I would hope, you're going to be selling these trusts probably in November, December of the end of this year. You're going to be taking profits on them because these altcoins always go to zero against Bitcoin. Okay, what goes on is these traders, they end up taking profits on altcoins and buying more Bitcoin or buying cars or houses or whatever they want to get into. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm going to kind of wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So just wrap things up, go over the main points. Altcoin season hasn't happened yet because of a lot of the flows into Bitcoin. I believe from May to August is the key accumulation phase to get your capital into these altcoins. And then in September, I think things will take off. I think Bitcoin dominance will plummet in September and altcoins will pick up. And I believe that around November, December is when you need to take profits on these altcoins, roll the profits back into Bitcoin or just hold cash or whatever. Just take a vacation, do what you want to do. So that's all I got, and guys, for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative to you. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And like I said, please, guys, check out my website, TarikPierce.com. I post articles on making money with crypto, as well as other side hustles that you can do to make money online. So you guys will learn a lot. Some of you guys out there like to read an article, check out my website. And that's all I got. Oh, lastly, if you guys enjoy this channel, please give me a subscribe. And thank you for watching. Take care.